Good afternoon. This is the international arbitrage on the 13th of February 2024. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Elon Musk case, which, and apart from all the stuff which is on social media about, the case and the $55 billion, which is all very interesting. The key point for me is that the case is all about his board of directors are being accused or held to be in relationships with him. And but my point would be, why shouldn't the directors be in relationships with him? At the end of the day, to run and operate a company and to save it from bankruptcy and do all the things that he did, you need to be able to communicate extremely well with your directors. And this is really going to be an issue for international private funds, international SMEs and owner operators who are setting up private investment funds and alternative investment funds to raise capital from investors. They're going to need to give real thought to the directors that they choose, because those directors, they need to be able to communicate with them. And to be able to communicate with directors, sometimes complex matters, things which are really extremely complex, it can be difficult to communicate these things. And so, what type of directors should you have? Should you have independent directors that you have no previous relationship with, where you don't really know what their communication skills are and whether you can communicate with them or not? Or should you choose people who you actually have a relationship with and can execute communication with? My thoughts are that, look, it was rumored on social media that, at one point Elon Musk was sleeping on at the factory as he fought through complex production matters and issues and what have you. Now, okay, we don't know whether it's true. That may be PR and so on and so forth. I don't know if he ever slept at the factory floor. But let me ask you this. Are there any rumors on social media that his directors, independent directors or investors were sleeping on the factory floor trying to help resolve issues? Were there? No, you don't see any rumors of that on social media. So owner operators know that what it takes, the sacrifices that have to be made and the things that have to be done to get a company profitable, to enable it to grow, to do all the things that need to be done. Only the owner operators know, right? And so it's easy to criticize his $55 billion package or whatever. I don't know whether it's fair or justified or not, but that's beside the point. My main focus is on the criticism of the directors. At the end of the day, he chose a number of directors who he knew, who he could communicate with. How many independent directors can you call up, at 3 o'clock in the morning while you're dealing with production issues on the factory shop floor? Strategy emerges from the trenches, from operations. And this is something that owner operators have to struggle with. And as we come into this time, owner operators now and in the future are going to have to be using increasingly structures like private funds and alternative investment funds that mean that they need independent directors. And independent directors are people that you need to be able to communicate with. And independent directors who are not involved in the front lines, in the trenches, it can be difficult for them to understand. This is why there's thousands of listed shell companies in Canada and places like that, where people have listed companies for oil and gas, for mining, but a lot of these deals fall apart because the owner operators cannot communicate the frontline issues to the Canadian independent directors, because the independent directors, many of them, not always all, but a lot of them, are often, they're independent, which is great, but what's the point of having an independent director who doesn't understand and cannot possibly understand what is happening on the front lines and in the trenches and operations, and support the owner operator when they're making decisions, hard decisions that need to be made? This is my problem with a lot of the media that we receive today in society, is more geared towards multinationals and large companies that don't have the problems that international SMEs and operators have. Well, I'm not complaining, but at the end of the day, the situation for owner operators is very different than it is for multinationals. All right, that's it for the international arbitrage for today. Thank you.